will, then it might even include somebody who is not a blood relation, because the owner of the property wills it to anybody of his choice.
Yeah, I was going to ask the barrister about that. That does it have to be strictly blood relation?
Yes, no. But in the intestacy, which is particularly a law, that is, the owner of the property has not left a will behind, and which now means that there is a civil law or a common law which determines how to interpret the intestacy or the traditional society.
Okay.
So in that case, it has to be with blood relations.
Okay.
Excuse me, let me come in.
Is there an Islamic definition?
In the Islamic perspective, the inheritance is a property left behind by a dead person. And not all the property could be inherited at a particular time. They will first of all look after some of the debts. If the dead person had left behind a debt, the debt must be removed from the total estate the deceased man left behind.
Okay.
At the same time, the will, if there is will, those who are eligible to inherit in Islamic context have no will, because the injunction of Allah in the Quran has taken care of them. The will be for the outsiders, those who are not eligible, those who do not have right to inherit from that person.
And how do you know those who are not eligible?
Those who are not eligible,
yeah.
Somebody, take for instance, a dead man left behind a wife.
Yeah.
The wife is eligible to inherit. There is a proportion. Children, if it happens, may God forbid bad thing, parents that the seed left behind, either mother or father, they have. So in the presence of all this, the stepfather, stepmother, or this, they don't have right to inherit from such a property.
I think so.
Yeah.
That is an Islamic perspective.
That is the nitty-gritty of inheritance.
Yeah.
Ordinarily, we are just trying to define inheritance. So it is when there's a will and when there isn't a will. I think that is the nitty-gritty of it.
Yeah.
Where and who will inherit.
We'll come back to all those later. Prince, you are a prince?
Yes.
In the Yoruba culture, what is the significance of the male child? And what role does the female child play in the family?
The role of the male child in, not particularly in the Yoruba society, but in the African concept, is a very significant one. And to the extent that most people feel bad when they don't have male children, they feel there will be nobody to inherit or to manage whatever they leave behind.
Exactly, that's where we are going.
So
can a female child not inherit?
A female child can inherit by inheritance, the law of inheritance in some areas. But the male child, like in the African society, is a must in the society. Even there are some clubs and associations to which a man belongs to, and his male child, first male child, that is the primogeniture, has to be in play. That's the male child must inherit. These are not landed property, they are not real estate, where the male child must be the one to represent the father and things like that. So in Yoruba and most African society, the male child is a very, very important figure in the family structure.
What about the female child?
The female child is also very important, and if we're going in terms of inheritance, there are areas, particularly in the American civil law, where it is stated that the female child can inherit movable assets. But when we talk of real estate, they should be left for the males in American civil law.
Okay, we'll come back to that later. AlhajI.
Yes, sir.
From the Islamic perspective, how is the female child rated in the family?
Well, in Islamic perspective, female child is rated as bona fide shareholder in the family setup. In Quran chapter 42, verse 49 and 50. Allah says that Yahabu liman yasha'u inasa. I, Allah, bestow female child to whom I wish. At the same time, bestow male child to whom I wish. Or at times it may mix up. So it means that both the male and the female children in the family of Muslim, they have bona fide right of education, social status right, and the like. They have every right, even in terms of inheritance. It is only Islam that are giving women that privilege. Yes, that a woman should inherit either from her husband or from her mother or from her son or whatever.
Okay.
So it's the same right with the male. It's only that the proportion is a little bit different.
What is the proportion?
The proportion, if there are male children and female children, لِذَكَرٍ مِثْلُ هَذِا الْأُنْثَيَيْنِ, what will be given to a male will be distributed between the two females. If a male child will receive 10,000 naira, then two females will be given 10,000, that is 5,000.
Why the disparity?
The disparity is that a male child will have some other responsibilities in the family, whereas the female children will go outside. Then you will say have the right to her husband's estate over there. That is that.
Okay. Before I come to you, I'd like to raise the point there that the male child has more responsibilities in the family. Is it like that these days, Barrister?
I would like to disagree with that. Because nowadays we realize that there's some female children who can even be heads of their family. They have the responsibility of taking care of each and every member of the family. And though that was how it was in those days, it was the male that had maybe the greater responsibility. But nowadays, the women, it has been thrust on them. And we have to take up the responsibility too. So it's nowadays, I don't want to agree with that it is the male that have the greater responsibility.
Okay.
I believe that the woman has